All right, g'day, hi, welcome. Look, Stage Reggie. There, I got my. Went through a lot of stuff today, and I actually got a lot of stuff done. And I got my PA working. I didn't get the freaking crate battery thing. That thing's got a major problem, but there's a guy that might want to buy it for parts. So I paid like $350 for that damn thing, but years ago. But whatever. But my PA, which is hiding behind the orange thing there, it actually I thought I had a blown speaker, but apparently I don't. So it might be just need time for new cables. So let's switch this camera around because I've been doing some reading like that. Now I want. You're not supposed to see those on me. Oh crap! Those were the granny glasses. You caught me with my granny glasses on. Okay, okay, you didn't see that, but they are good reading glasses. That was my mom's friend. She's like, I told her that my eyes are starting to go. I'm starting to turn into an old man and whatever. She's like, "Oh, I got glasses. I don't wear them here. You take these." I was like, "Okay." I got a couple of them lying around, so I'm trying to like get these reading glasses. I got some up home. I got some in my work kit. I got some in the. I had some in the car. Like the idea is like just until I can finally afford glasses. So I'm up to page 12 with the Elvis one, one of the Elvis biographies, and I'm up to with look away, look away, look away for a second or two. Don't. I know you guys would never make fun of me. Not you guys. Aunt Sarah's Family Restaurant specializing in home cooked meals. I have no idea where this is from. It's a matchbook as I'm using as a oh family restaurant, 18th Street North, Brandon, Manitoba. I know there's a Brandon, Ontario. Wow, I wonder how old this is. I don't even know where that came from. I'm using it as a bookmark. Anyway. So I'm still. I don't know if I like this yet or not. The way it's written is they misspell words to get that kind of ebonics slash hillbilly kind of slang, so that you're thinking of it like that accent in your head. So the author does okay with that. I got more than 2 pages read today. I mean, from page 11 to page 17. So that's all I have time for today. So but I don't want to spend a lifetime reading that book either. But so far, it's like, okay, there's nothing special about the book. It's just in the early kind of like, here's a few characters for you. Here's what they're doing. They're fixing a roof and whatever. I don't know if it's post apocalyptic or whatever. The girl's mom died giving birth, and the other two, they're always sisters are fighting and whatever, that kind of stuff. So I still don't know what the plot is yet, but other than, just the quick stuff you read on the cover. I still have not read the back of the book. I am one of those people that believe in judging a book by its cover and the element of surprise, because it's like, okay, well, okay, maybe you can read a brief of it, but other than that, like right on the cover, never read the back cover. It will spoil it. It will, I love it when I go see a movie and I have no idea what I'm going to see. Like for example, when I went to saw Team America, I was not ready for that. My gut still hurts from that one. I walked. It was like I'd seen every movie in the theater because I was going to watch a movie once a week. It was back when I lived in town, and I go like a day matinee because it was like half price or whatever. And it's like I finally saw every movie in the theater, and there was like a couple of kids movie I just wasn't interested. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm really bored today, and it was raining out. Okay, I'll go see this Team America thing. I'll waste my money on it and whatever. And man, I never laughed so hard in the theater. Like I had to hang on to the seat ahead of me because I was nearly pissing myself laughing. Like I literally fell out of my seat laughing. It was like I was the heart. Like I was just crying. I was laughing so hard. Like when you watch it a few times, okay, it's funny. But when you get caught off and you were expecting like a kid's like puppet show type of thing to see if it was going to be any good or not. I was like, okay, this is going to be like a hero puppet thing, from the 50s, right? And just like a remake of it. I was like, oh man, was I ever wrong? But they got me good. They punked me good. I was so happy on that one. But I did that with a bunch of movies. And my friends were, oh, Reg, we want to go see this movie with you. And it's about, I said, just don't tell me, we're just going to go. But don't you want to know what's about? Nope. Nope. They'd be like, why don't you want to know? Because I said, I'll enjoy the movie 10 times more if I have no clue what it's about. right? A lot of movies you'll figure out in like, the first 5 minutes what it's about. Well, books are the same thing. Just don't tell me what it's about. Like, give me the surprise. I love the surprise. If you start doing that, guys, you're going to enjoy things a lot more in general. But you're going to critique a lot better. Where it's like you watch a movie, you never saw the advertisement, because a lot of times the movie won't live up to the highlights of the advertisement because you're just getting the highlights. If it's a really dull movie, you're getting the highlights, right? Where it's like, okay, well, we got to show you, like, for example, Fury, the tank scene in Fury. If you haven't seen the movie Fury, okay, say what you want about the movie. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. Yeah, it's propaganda one way or the other. It always is, right? But fantastic. But it's like I was watching TV, and it's like, here comes this tiger tank. Brad Pitt's in an interview or whatever. Here comes this tiger tank, and they show like just a little clip of it. I'm like, I am definitely going to see that, but they should not have showed me that part. But that's what everybody came to see. You know what I mean? Is like, okay, what happened between the tiger and the Sherman? You know what I mean? And if you watch the movie, you know what happened. And I thought it was pretty okay. Yeah, it was a little over the top in some areas, but because it's a Hollywood movie, right? But it was based on true stories, and you could see some of these scenarios actually playing out, and the harsh reality of it and stuff like that. So it was well done. It was well done. And watching it, seeing it in the theater without, uh, knowing what I'm going to see, it was so much better. You know what I mean? Like, if I would have watched the trailers after I saw the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, that would have ruined it for me for sure. And Hunter Killer was like that. I got the DVD from the library in 2021 or whatever, or in 2020, and everything had shut down, right? So I had this DVD, and I'm like, well, I like submarines and submarine warfare. Is it going to be like Steel Tide or Crimson Tide or Hunt for Red October? What are we going to get here? And we got something totally different. I was like, oh, I love it. It's one of my favorite movies from Gerard Butler. Like, it's really good. But I had no idea what I was going to get to see, right? So it's like, oh, I love this, stuff like that. The Tom Clancy stuff, it's the same thing. Like all the Tom Clancy movies, go see them without knowing what the plot's about. It's a lot better. First and last one for the day. My day's almost over here. I got something done. So I read a little bit of the books. Filled the garbage can. Okay, still got to refill the garbage was empty today. They picked up the garbage today, and it was like about half an hour later I have it full again for bins 11 and 12. And tomorrow I'm going to fill up see if I can fill up the rest of the recycling. Maybe bring a chainsaw down, start depending on the weather. I might knock down a few branches here or there, and start piling them up, where I can burn them. Maybe mid-January, have a nice little bonfire, burn all the branches and brush and everything. Yeah, so I can get a few of the shrub trees down, whatever. Anything that's good enough to cut up for stove wood, I'll just, put it somewhere where I can do it. Because I'm going to have that shed clear. A few more bins, I'll have it clear, and then when the next large waste pickup is, I'll have the couch out of there and the bed mattresses. That should work pretty good. Yeah, so I tested out my PA system. It's not loud enough to, like, I made a little bit of money with that PA system. Both my acoustic guitars are completely shot electronically, so it's like I thought, well, maybe wishful thinking. I thought, okay, maybe it's just dead batteries. No, it's not just dead batteries. My guitars are shot. Although I kind of sort of sorting out I wasn't able to adjust the truss rod on the 12 string, but I was able to figure out where some of my crazy tuning instability is coming from for the 12 string, and it had to do with my E string. I had it usually when I put a string in, I make sure that little ball end is right at the end of the peg, so that it's tight to the peg, so it's not moving. And I think that's what was kind of throwing me off, because it seemed like it pulled up a lot, like it just. I'm like, oh, okay, so I reset it, and it seemed to stabilize the tuning of the guitar. So at least if I can get the guitar maintain tuning, but there's still something, like you can hear the string going sharp and out of tune when you're playing, even if you tune it open perfectly. It's like the drones are not, there's something wrong. There's too much tension on one string, and not enough on the other, and I can't seem to balance them out, and I'm not sure why. So maybe what I have to do is just like slacken off everything, and I think maybe I just might have to just put a new set of strings on there and start over. Maybe that'll fix it because I've never had these kind of issues with a 12 string before. Like it's like it just won't stay in tune. It goes out of tune as you're playing it. I've never had that, and I've had like three 12 strings, right? And I've been playing, people's 12 strings for years. I teach people how to tune a 12 string and how so it'd stay in tune forever. You know what I mean? And that 12 string, when I first got it, one thing it had going for it was how well it stayed in tune. I mean, you could hammer on it with the hardest pick possible you imagine, and you'd break a string before you'd knock it out of tune. So at least if I can have it in tune, even if the electronics are still kind of screwed, the electronics could possibly be repaired with a new bridge on there, but it'll make the action really high, but might stabilize the tuning a bit more. It's just I won't be able to shred on it like I want. Now, mind you, I've played some other 12 strings that were like when I first got the guitar, the factory setting was okay. It was the action on acoustic guitars are always way too high, right from the fact. But they want to make sure that when you buy the acoustic guitar, it doesn't buzz, and most people don't use past the fifth fret, right? Because most people that play acoustic guitars don't do much with them action-wise. Like they're not shredding on them; they're just strumming a bunch of chords. And then you get some crazy virtuosos that are doing the finger stuff and the thumb. Like one guy there, it's like yeah, he's like a virtuoso type, and he does all the what they call the percussive acoustic guitar stuff. Really cool. I can't do that. I don't practice that. I should practice it. Maybe in the future I'll try to see if I can do something more like that. But I'm really a picker. Like I love a really clean, picked out 12 string note, right? And to me, that's where I shine. That's what I'm good at, and it's what I love to hear the most. I like the percussive stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's just I don't know. It's what I prefer, right? So you get good at what you practice and stuff like that. You should practice a little bit of everything just to say you dabble in, but really specialize, right? I'm working on my set list, so the thing is with my PA system, I can't really play a room much bigger than this. I might be able to play the library with it, but if I could find a way to get that working, the crate, I could use it as a third wedge monitor. And the last time what I did was, and it was a weird way I did it, but I did it, was I used the little amp and the crate and those two monitors by sending the signal out from the PA into my what you call it. I had to do some messing around with this, but I did find a way to do it, and into the little VTX 15 amp. And then what I did is I daisy chained the two amps together, and everything ran off the PA for the sound, right? So I had basically like 4 speakers, and I did it, and it wasn't crazy loud, but it was enough that a room could hear you. You know what I mean? So you had all these like, okay, the PA is 70 watts, but when you divide up the 4 channels, it's like 15 or 18 watts or 16 watts or 17 and a half watts per channel. So if you're using a mic and an acoustic guitar, all the power gets diverted to those channels, right? So if you just have it on one channel, you got the full 70 watts, which is not loud enough, right? And you can only put it up so loud before you can't just crank it. You know what I mean? There's about 2/3 is about, or a third of the way is about as loud as you can really put it without it just humming and buzzing and squeaking and squealing, and sounding like shit, right? So I want to see if I can plan a show somewhere. I was thinking about the hall, but I might not be able to do it at the hall. And I don't think they would allow me to play in the church, and the church might be too cold anyway, just because of the songs I'd be playing. You know what I mean? The idea is to do a gig and have people come and pay, play. Like I'll play for the hat, but it gives me like a live show that I can film and put on and play for the hat. And the last time I played live with this rig, I made 160, and then the second, or no, the first time I made 162. The second time I made 68 or something like that. Just because there wasn't as many people the second time, but it was a rainy night and stuff like that. So I'm not going to get a lot. I paid 700 and something for. I can't remember exactly what I paid for that PA. About 10 years ago, or no, more than that, 15 years ago. I've had it for a while. But if it works, I can't put it onto a powered monitor. But the idea for me is to not have to spend a cent and to be able to make a gig so I can pay for new acoustics, a new PA system that's like at least 500 to 2,000 watts. Then I can play places. You know what I mean? Once you have that, you can play places and make money as a musician. That'd be great. But to do it, I'm going to need my vehicle, right? So I gotta raise funds somehow. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that little crate. But anyway, so worked on the acoustic guitar, played about an hour set list. I'm going to work out about a 3 hour show. Um, and I really want to do the shows with the 12 string. And it's just like, when you're set on that, like it's not, but the thing about the Ibanez is that thing is like rock solid. Yeah, the electronics are shot, but I do have that, call it the poor man's pickup, whatever you want to call it. I do have that, and it basically, it's low tech, works no matter what, but it doesn't sound great. But you can get the job done. So really, you're putting your emphasis on the performance rather than the sound quality. But when I do get to play, like there's a couple of shows or jam nights that I did where I use somebody else, the actual, like when I use my guitar, it sounds good, right? But like the first time I played that 12 string live, it was like I had to use that Dean pickup, which what people were clapping on wasn't the sound of the 12 string, what they were, quality of the 12 string sound. What they're blown away by was me shredding on it, doing that song Atlas. And like everybody's like, wow, that sounded great. Oh, I love the 12 string, whatever. But I know that it would have sounded a lot better on the internal electronics. So, yeah, like no matter what, I need new acoustic guitars if I want to play live. And I need something that, it's like, but it's funny. Like I bought that acoustic guitar as a B stock guitar, and I still bitch about it. It was phenomenal for the first 8 months, and then when I changed the strings and I filed down the bridge, that's what gave me my intonation, probably the most of my intonation problems. But the thing is that I had changed the strings, okay, and the guitar was perfectly intonated with the adjustment I made. It's when I changed to these strings, for whatever reason, these strings will not intonate properly. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it is just the strings. I mean, these are 12 gauge strings. They're heavier. So what I'm thinking, what might have happened is that the bass strings, your regular strings, might be so heavy that they're not, because of me lowering the bridge. I had 10s on there because I try to play the lightest acoustic strings possible, especially on the 12 string, because there's so much tension there, that there's just that much extra tension that the drone strings can't get enough tension on them. Hence why they're always kind of, when you hit them, they go sharp and then out of tune, right? So it's like you can't keep the guitar in tune. So I'm thinking that might be what it is. But I'm sure I played 12s on there before. Like I've done a couple of string changes on that guitar. So I'm not sure exactly why it's doing it. Now, the other reason why it's doing it, it could be, and hopefully I just, don't have things in the peg properly, and it's the string is actually, like it's moving because it's not all the way up where it's supposed to be. Which was, usually I'm very conscientious about that. That's why I don't like the peg systems on the acoustic guitars. I like the through the bridge ones, but very few do that, right? I think it's usually the upper end stuff because that doesn't move. The downside is if your bridge wears out, you got to replace the bridge. So there's that. Could be another reason contributing. Like there could be multiple reasons here why it's doing that. I mean, the neck is still dead straight on it, but the third reason and why tuning instability happens to 12 string guitars, and this is probably why it's a B stock guitar, is the neck isn't set right and it's too far forward, hence why my action went high. But what happened is when I got the guitar, the action wasn't too bad. Then I'd lowered it, or no, I didn't lower it. what happened is it went up. I walked in the room one day and the action was like that high. I'm like, what happened? It's like the whole neck just shifted. So my hunch is that um, that's what it was. Is the neck wasn't set properly. You say, well, just take it to a Luther and get the neck reset. It's cheaper to buy another guitar. Like on a $3,000 guitar, it's worth it. On a $650 guitar, $700 guitar, it's not worth it, right? Like you're halfway to another guitar. 300-400 bucks to do that. Do it yourself. Well, again, tooling, stuff like that. You don't have the jig. You don't have, like it's never as simple as that. I mean, if you got the thing for free, sure. But what I'm hoping to do with it is just getting it so that it stays completely in tune, and just whoever buys it, I'll let them know, like, you have to be finicky with the strings you buy, because it won't hold intonation. There's one of the reasons why I'm selling it. But if you're just one of these people that play around the campfire at home and you don't care about the electronics, I'll give you a good deal on the guitar. I'll take the loss. I'll get rid of the guitar and fund another guitar with it, right? So that's what I'm hoping. But until I sort out that one issue, which might be solved as easily as just putting a new bridge on there, but then I got really stupidly high action, and even with the tross rod adjustment, it probably wouldn't be enough to correct that, or I'd have such a back bow in the neck that it wouldn't be good. You know what I mean? Because I need to be able to play the higher frets, or else it's kind of defeats my purpose. Like again, for those that just play up to the third or fifth fret, no problem. That'll be good enough for you. Those that want to shred and impress people like myself, um, like yeah, I need a little bit more precision than that. Now I've tried a lot of 12 strings on the market, and there's a lot of good ones out there. It's just I think I bought a B stock guitar, and I'm a huge Takamine fan. I really like the brand. I love the sound of the guitars. I love the looks of the guitars. But if it won't stay in tune, like I can tolerate, screwing up the bridge. That's my fault, not the manufacturer's. But I can't tolerate a guitar that won't stay in tune. You just can't, because especially live, the last thing you want is any string to go out live while you're playing a 12 string. Like it's just live. It's just they're so finicky to tune to begin with. In order to tune them, it's hard enough to keep them in tune as it is. And when you have a crowd, people talking loud and stuff like that, you're trying to tune. It's really difficult, even with a tuner. Sometimes the tuner picks up the audience, or something else like a hum or a buzz, and like the tuner's just going all over the place for you. I've had that. A lot of tuners, it doesn't. You can spend $10,000 on a tuner, and you can still get that problem. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, before you go on the stage, you make sure that thing is like dead tuned. The six string, not so bad. You can usually get the six string back in fairly easily. Sometimes you can get far off the reserve, that it's like, hey, wait a minute, I can't seem to find where the tuning is. I've had that happen a few times too, even with a six string acoustic. And again, you got a crappy PA, you can't hear over the talking in the crowd while you're tuning. It can do that to you. So there's things. But that's pretty much what I did down here today. Happy to get another bin filled. But the next one that's got to be filled is the recycling again. So I'll see if I get that one done tomorrow, and then I'll be good for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of bins. That'll be bin 11 and 12. That'll be excellent. And then by 13 and 14 will be in December. Hopefully by that time I have everything that I need to throw out of the woodshed out, except for those big items. And then I can go through, like I can start going through stuff now, And again, I'm already starting a, get rid of it pile. Okay, I moved all my stuff down here, but some of the stuff's going to go. Even some tools, I'm gonna do a yard sale first, and then at the end of the yard sale, it's like, okay, here's what's here. Okay, I'm gonna give it away. I'm gonna throw it out. I'm gonna burn it. Trade it, whatever. If I just can't get rid of it, I'll take the loss and just get rid of it. I just don't want the clutter. You know what I mean? And I don't bring for every one thing I collect, I get rid of about 100 things, right? So I know you guys see me getting these lamps and stuff like that, but you have to understand that stuff I can get rid of anytime I want, and I've gotten it for free. So I can either my black lamp with the stripes. Yeah, I'm going to keep that one because it's cool. And the other two lamps I got for my buddy and keep. And the moose lake lamp, even though it doesn't work, it's cool, right? But someday I might get rid of it. Just, whatever. The lamp that I made in high school, the sailboat lamp, yeah, that one I got to keep. I got to fix that one again, I think, though. This tall lamp, I'll trade it up whenever I find a better, taller lamp. That antique one, I'm going to test that one out as soon as I get a light bulb. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Because that one I could actually sell for, a good price. Here's an actual antique lamp. But then again, if it's an antique lamp, I might just keep it. I just got to get what do you call it? A shade for it. Yeah. So there's that. There's that. So anyway, that's my day. That was my tummy. I don't know if you guys heard that. That means it's supper time. I must go feed. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So all right. Yeah. So I'll keep you guys posted on the books and stuff like that, and I'll do a full review of the book. Well, maybe not a full review, but just hey, here's the book I'm reading. What books are you guys reading right now? I got Blood Red Road and two Elvis, the 60th anniversary of Elvis, and Elvis by Robert Pearson and Sid Shaw. Right? So if I read the names right. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm reading. What are you guys reading? Anyway, talk to you guys later.